Karibuni and welcome to Aroma of Zanzibar. Today I'm going to show you how to make this delicious. It's a kind of bread, but it doesn't taste like bread. It's got a very distinctive taste of its own. Mandazi. Okay, for mandazi we're going to need some all-purpose flour, some coconut milk. Now these come in different varieties of brands. You don't have to use this particular brand, and if you have access to the fresh coconut where you can squeeze it, that's perfectly fine. You can use regular milk, or you could use something like this and then follow the instructions of how much you need for a cup. Okay, then I got some cardamom here. This is ground cardamom, and the whole cardamom looks like this. Okay, and I have some sugar and some oil. This is about 1.5 tablespoons, and I have some instant yeast. As we go along, I'm going to tell you a little more about mandazis. Okay, this is how I like to start. There's so many ways of mixing the mandazis. Some people like to put everything, dump it all at one time, or you can have your yeast separately to bloom, but I like to do it this way. I got half of my coconut milk, and I'm going to add the yeast in this. Okay, I'm going to let it stand for a few minutes so that it blooms. Okay, my yeast is kind of bloomed. Now this step is not really necessary. Like I say, you can just dump everything in one bowl. And here I have what I've done is I have mixed the sugar and the cardamom powder, and of course with the flour together. I'm just gonna the reason why I like to do this way, when I don't know, it happens to me. I'm not sure if it happens to everybody. Sometimes, not all the time though, when I dump everything together, with the yeast not being soaked to bloom, I get little bits of yeast over the top. It looks like little pimples, and I don't like that. Okay, so I'm going to start this. I'm going to add more of this. And the oil. Okay, I don't want to do it more here because the more you need, you're going to develop gluten, which we don't want to do it. We're not looking for anything chewy here. This is not a pizza or a bread. Okay, this is a very delicate bread. We want it to be very soft, like cotton. Okay, so this is actually all right. You see, the moment it starts coming out from the separates itself from the ball, you see how clean. Take this out. See, when you take it out, it's like that. So this is perfectly ready. I got my dough ready here, and I don't know, I may need to do this for a few seconds Actually, it's not necessary because this is perfectly done. Okay, and you can do this any size you want. Okay, let me see if I can do 5. Okay, we'll do 6 then. Okay, I'll do some big and some small, just for the sake of it. Okay. That's how you boil it. Yeah, I like my mandazis small because that way you get many, because my children really love these. And yeah, more about mandazis. They're eaten, they're consumed rather. I believe they must have originated from the coastal, you know, like Zanzibar, where I come from, or Mombasa, Pemba, you know, because you know, we use a lot of coconut and a lot of spices, and you're gonna see that most of my recipes have a lot of spices, but we don't do it very hot. Anyway, so mandazis are eaten everywhere in East Africa, and I believe even in Somali they do mandazi, but theirs has in Kenya they call it mahamri, and we have it for breakfast, like I say. You can have it for lunch as a side dish, or dinner, or snack. As I was growing up, you know, going to school, and even after I went back after so many years, the trend was still the same. You know, every morning you see a lady outside her doorstep with a fresh mandazi. And we used to eat mandazi at home, and we used to eat, you know, we used to buy them. I mean, it's funny that you eat the same thing at home, yet you also buy the same thing. And also, I want to tell you, this is my method of doing it, okay? And I did add a little oil, like you could see. I ended up using only 1 tablespoon of oil, simply because I think it makes it very moist. But I cut down the oil because the coconut milk has a lot of fat. Okay, so that also makes it moist. So when I use ordinary milk, I use 2 tablespoons of oil. But when I use coconut milk, I cut down the oil. And honestly, you wouldn't see how moist they are until the next day, which I prefer. Okay, so I'm gonna lay them here. Okay, and you want to put a lot of flour here because you don't want them to stick to. Okay, because what happens is when they stick, when you take them out, they're going to lose their shape. Yeah, I was saying about the oil and the moisture. Okay, I prefer to eat them the next day. And when you add oil, this is to my observation, there is no fast and hard rule. I find them very moist even the next day. They're like freshly just made. And but you know, it doesn't happen most of the time, because most of the time when I do my mandazis, they finish the same night. But this is morning time. I'm doing these, and the temperature here is about 36 degrees Fahrenheit. It's very cold, so they're going to take time to rise. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in the oven, but I'm not going to turn the oven. The oven is going to be off, and I'm going to keep the light on. Now the light will radiate that heat to get my mandazis to rise. Okay, like I said, I just wanted to show you. So they're in there. The oven is off. Okay, we are not baking them. All right. Okay, now my mandazis are ready to be fried. They have risen up and they look absolutely beautiful. Okay, you want your oil to be hot but not extremely hot. And I think mine is, it's okay. It's not as hot as I wanted it to be, but it shouldn't be a problem. And well, the kids are ready. Everybody's ready, waiting for, they're up and waiting for mandazi. And so what I normally like to do here, like you can see, I like to drizzle the hot oil on top of the mandazi. Actually, I don't know why, but I've been seeing my grandmother doing that, my mother doing that. Everybody, when they do the mandazi, they do it that way. So I guess it's just a habit until I find out why we do certain things that we do. Okay, but I think this one here has not risen as much, but it shouldn't be a problem. You see, now this one is just perfectly. It's time to turn it, to flip it over, because if you let it rise more, it's gonna bust, and then you're gonna have a lot of grease in your mandazi. And this one here is a perfect one. And this one has decided not to cooperate, but it's okay. So these don't really take much time to fry. And some people like them very dark. Some people like them lighter. I like them a little bit light with some color, but I like them to be all uniformly, the color to be all the same. And yeah, like this is exactly how I like my mandazi to look like. Okay, so I hope you enjoy watching this and try, and please come back with a feedback. It's always nice to know what you like and what you don't like, and where you find it difficult, can always help you. Okay, now this is how I like mine. As you can see, it's perfect. Okay, no grease. Okay, because once they start busting, you're going to have a lot of grease in them, and then they don't taste as nice. Okay, so I'll finish all of them, and then I'll get back to you and show you my nice plate of mandazi. Okay, so here's my mandazi. They look absolutely nice, and they're supposed to look hollow like this inside. They're nice and soft. And if you roll, this is when you have your mandazis rolled out thin. But if you roll them a little bit thicker, yeah, this is a bit thicker, so you have a little more meat inside. Well, thank you very much, and do visit us again.